Hello, I'm Michael Finn, and today I'm going to show you I don't know why I picked the number 6. I'm going to show you 6 really great stretches to open up your hips and make your hips a little bit looser and allow them to function better, which oftentimes will take the pressure off of the knees, and sometimes will also take the pressure off of the ankles, and it will also take the pressure off of the low back. So really super important to do all of these. So let's jump right in with number 1. So the first one is we're going to do a hip flexor stretch. Okay, our hip flexors run right through the front side of our hip, inside the ilium there. So we want to drop down onto one knee, just like in our half kneeling position with the left knee down on the floor. We're going to move that left foot more out towards the side, so more towards the camera there. Okay, so we're going to try to take that lateral side of the ankle down to the floor a little bit. And then we're going to tuck those hips under, so we're going to use those glutes to tuck the hips under. We're going to use our low abs so we can be strengthening our muscles while we're stretching other muscles. It's a great way to stretch. So we want to get all that tuck in through there. And then once we have that tuck, we want to try to slide forward with those hips and come as far forward as we can while we keep that tuck. If we lose that tuck, we need to stop right there. We also want to think about making our spine nice and tall. And then we want to breathe. We want our primary source of energy coming in, oxygen. And with every breath, try to lengthen the body to make it all nice and long and stretch it. You could even take that outside arm up towards the ceiling and get a little bit more stretch if you wanted to do that. But big inhales. All the way in, all the way out. You could even shift just a little slightly over to the right while you're on that left knee. You might get a little bit more of a stretch in through those hip flexors. It's just a real small shift. Let's go one more breath here. Great, and then we'll switch over to the other side. So you can go along with these and do them, and whichever ones feel really like you need to be doing them, you should be doing them all the time, every chance you get. So we're going to be on the right knee, that left foot out in front, tuck those hips all the way under, fire those glutes, pull up with those low abs, slide those hips all the way forward, try to lengthen your spine, try to touch the ceiling with the top of your head so that you make all of that really tall, so we stretch out all of the fascia in the body. You can shift a little bit over to your left. Take your big breaths all the way in, all the way out, relaxing into that stretch. Feel it open up with every breath. I like people to take a good 5 deep, full and complete breaths for every stretch. This way you're not watching the clock or counting seconds, you're just focusing on deep, full, complete breathing, and you're practicing your breathing at the same time while you're stretching. Do one more breath here. Now, so I don't make this video too long, I'm only going to do one time on each side of each stretch, but in all reality, you should be doing 3. If you really want to open up these muscles, you should be doing each one of these stretches 3 times on each side. And then, once you get everything opened up and functioning really good, then you can drop back down to like 1 and do it less. So, alright, so then we want to have a little cushioning underneath the knee, use as much as you need to. We're going to put that foot up on the wall that's back there behind me, just like that. And with the toes up there on the wall, and then we're going to come up into our kneeling position this way. So that now you're going to try to take your butt to your heel. But the same thing, you need to try to tuck your hips under. We don't want to try to get the butt to the heel and bend forward. We want to lengthen that spine up, and we want to tuck everything under. And so now we're going to get the stretch into the rectus femoris. Same kind of thing, we can shift. I'm on my right knee, so I can shift over to my left. And I can get a little bit more into the stretch. Big, full breaths all the way in and all the way out. I always start on my right side because my right side's a little tighter than my left. So I love starting on this side so that I really spend the time to open this one up. You could reach that same side arm up towards the ceiling, and that's going to pull on the fascia and maybe give you a little bit more stretch in the top of the muscle. Big full breaths all the way in, all the way out. tucking those hips under, slowly working everything back. Just get a stretch. You don't have to kill yourself. You don't have to make it painful. Just get a stretch. And breathe and relax into that stretch. I'm going to do one more big breath here because this side's a little tight. Outstanding, and then let's switch over to the other side. Alright, so now we're going to go left foot up on the wall, left knee down on the floor, right foot out there in front, so we're in that half kneel position. We're going to push that right foot to come all the way up. We're going to tuck those hips all the way under. Really fire the glute. Really pull up with those low abs. Use those muscles to help with the stretch. You got to use your muscles to help with the stretch. It's going to make everything function so much better, and you'll get more coordinated. Big breath, and your core will function better. Big full breath in through the nose, fill that tummy all the way up. Work your way into that stretch, relaxing those muscles. Let's go one more breath here. And then relaxing that side, all right? So that's our second one. That's our kneeling quad stretch with the foot up on the wall. I'm gonna move the mat around a little bit quickly there, and now we're gonna get a little bit more of the glute stretched out. So, nice to have something elevated in front of you. I've got my bench up here in a step because my legs are pretty long, so I need something a little higher. And so we want to get our front leg into what we call the 90-90 position. So we're gonna bring our front leg up here where we're laying it on its side so that your knee down the outside of your knee and the outside of your ankle and the outside of your shin are all laying there on the bench. Your knees bent at 90 degrees. And then we're going to push that tailbone out. I want to try to reach out with my tailbone that way. And at the same time, I want to try to lay my tummy down on my thigh. Not my chest, my tummy. We want to flex at the hip. The glute extends the hip, so to stretch it, we want to use our body to try to flex the hip. And so I'm going to try to relax and get my tummy down, stick my tailbone out, and at the same time I want to make sure my spine is long. So I want to be reaching my head out towards the wall in front of me and elongating it through my breath with the big inhale and the big exhale. Big inhale, make that spine long, stick that tailbone out. Exhale and relax into that stretch. Big inhale, lengthen that spine. Big exhale, relax. And let's go one more big breath there. Great, so now let's switch over to the other side. So now we're going to take the left leg and put that up on the bench, being about 90 degrees at the knee. And you pretty much want to try to have that hip right in front of that knee too, so that they're all in alignment. And then same thing, push that tailbone out behind you, get the tummy down towards your thigh, reach your head towards the wall in front of you. Big breath all the way in, all the way out. Make your spine super long. You can use your hands for support. I do this on a couch, on the bed. I do it on the beds in like hotel rooms when I'm traveling. It's a little low, but you can get it done. You just got to work on it. It just makes you stronger. It just makes everything more easy when you do it in lots of different areas. And you get really good at it and just practice. Big inhales. Big exhales. Big inhales. Big exhales. Let's go one more breath here. All right, cool. So that gets some of the fibers of the glutes. That's stretch number 3. On to number 4. Now we're going to go laying down on the back with our butt towards the wall, but we're going to be far enough away from the wall so that we are 90 degrees at the knee. All right? So that feet are flat against the wall, knees are bent at 90 degrees. And now we're going to do, like a lot of people will call this the figure 4 stretch, and they'll do it and they'll be pulling their legs in towards them, but that's not how you really get the stretch. What you really want to do is you want to have that wall to brace your other leg with. So now I've taken my right ankle, I cross that over on my left knee so that it's braced and it's not going to go anywhere. And then I want to take my right knee and I want to push it towards the wall so that now I'm moving into that figure 4 position. And this will people will get stretches in lots of different places in this one because it does get lots of different things. People feel it into their hamstrings, they feel it on the outside of the hip, sometimes they feel it on the inside of the hip. And then to get an extra stretch, your left foot that's still on the wall, you can push through the toes and lift your heel up off the wall, and that's going to move your left knee closer to you, which is going to push this ankle closer to you. So if you don't really get a stretch doing this exercise, oh yes, and you have to keep your tailbone down on the floor. You can't be all arched up and changing the position of your spine. So this one's a little tricky. There's lots of factors with this. So long spine, tailbone down, pushing through that left foot on the toes, having the heel up, getting a stretch. If you don't have a stretch, well then you can move closer to the wall because that will bring your left knee closer to you and it will give you a different point of rotation through that leg, okay? Once again, don't kill yourself, just get a stretch and then breathe and relax into it. Let's just take one more deep breath for me. And then we'll switch over to the other side. So, right foot flat on the wall, left ankle up on top of on the thigh, just below the knee, and then pushing that left knee towards the wall, pushing with my right toes to get my right heel up off the wall, keeping my tailbone down on the floor, breathing and getting my spine nice and tall and long into the room, and stretching out that left hip. And relaxing into that stretch and feeling it pull wherever it might be. It might be around the hamstring, might be around the inside, might be the outside. So it's also nice to have the toes of this left foot pulled up towards the shin. That will add to the stretch a little bit too. If you relax them, it will take some of the stretch away. All right, and then relax that side, okay? So that's going to get some of the fibers in both, some of the hip flexors as well as the glutes. All right, that was 4. On to 5. So on to 5 is our big hamstring muscles, starting off with the rectus femoris on the outside, which most people are very tight. So once again, it's really great. I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do this. So if you have something to elevate your feet onto, that is a really great way to do it. It doesn't have to be super high. Once again, bed, couch, anything like that. So I'm going to stand on my right foot. I'm going to put my left leg up there on the bench. So with my leg completely straight, and I'm pulling my toes up towards my shins so that I already have tension coming up the back of the leg. And then I want to come forward. You can come as far forward down your leg as you possibly can. Where you get a stretch, you want to push that tailbone out. If you can grab on your toes with the opposite hand or the same hand, that's great, because then you can pull on those and you can try to get more of a stretch. You might feel this in the calf, you might feel it behind the knee, you might feel it in the hamstring, you might feel it in all 3 places. Once again, just get a stretch and breathe and relax into it. Don't kill yourself, just get a stretch and then breathe and let the tissue open up. This is why really important, especially on these muscles that are tight for you, you need to do it 3 times on each side. Because every time you open up that muscle, you're hydrating the muscle. And then the next time it will open up just a little bit more, and the next time a little bit more. So that if you do this day in and day out, you will make your muscles all nice and hydrated, and they'll function so much better, and you won't have so much of a tendency to injure them or pull them or strain them because they will be full of water and protein and energy and everything else because you're breathing into them. Great, okay? So, and then on the other side, I'm going to do it the other way. So if you don't have something to put your foot up on, like when I'm out of the track or something like that, we can go kneeling on the ground, and we can go half kneeling position. So now my left knee is going to be on the ground. My right leg is going to be straight out in front of me. My toes are going to be pulled up towards me. My right hand is down on the ground on the outside of my right leg, and I'm reaching out and grabbing my toes with my left hand. And I'm pushing that tailbone back, and I'm pulling up on my toes to get a stretch. Now once again, just get a stretch. If you can't get there and you can only get to your knee, then get to your knee and get a stretch there. If you can only get to your shin, great. I've been doing this a while, so flexibility is incredibly important for performance. So I can get out to the toes, I can pull up on the toes, I can push, and I'm actually pulling with my left knee a little bit too to try to sink my hips backward to get a deep stretch. So I actually really like doing it this way on the floor so that you get into that good stretch up the whole backside of your leg. And then big inhales, elongating your spine, and exhaling and relaxing into the stretch. Wonderful. All right. So that was 5. And now 6 is going to get one of the other hamstring muscles that I find is really tight on people and is also attached to the meniscus. And this also oftentimes resolves a lot of meniscus problems. Okay? So we are going to be standing, and once again I'm going to show you 2 different ways. We're going to do it up on the bench and we're going to do it up on the floor. So the first way you can do this is on something elevated like a bench or a bed, where we stand facing sideways and we stick that leg straight out to the side up on the bench. Knees locked out, toes are pulled up towards you, and then you're going to bend out to the side. And if you can only get to your shin, that's fine. And just, once again, get that stretch and hold the stretch. But if you can go farther without twisting your hips and turning everything, well, then you can get out there and you can grab those toes and you can pull up on those toes. You're going to kind of want to stick your left hip out a little bit as you are reaching out through your right heel so that you get that long stretch. And you'll feel this right up the whole inside and backside of your leg. And then big inhales, elongate that spine. Big exhales, relaxing into the stretch. Making that leg nice and long. Pulling those toes up towards the shin. Let's go one more breath here. Awesome. So remember, 5 breaths, 3 times on each side for the stretches. And now we'll do this one down on the floor because I like it on the floor too. So now I'm going to be on my right knee. I'm going to stick my left leg straight out to my side. Those toes pulled up towards the shin. Okay, got that knee nice and locked out. And then I'm going to bend out to my left, all the way out to those toes. I'm going to grab onto those toes and pull them straight up. I'm going to try to stick my right hip out a little bit so that I get a big stretch up through the whole inside and back of my leg. Big full breaths all the way in, all the way out. And then relaxing that side. So, those are our 6 awesome stretches for around our hips. Get up, walk around, see if everything feels like it's a little bit looser. Your back's a little looser, your knees are a little looser, everything's feeling a little looser. That's the way it should be. 3 times on each side, 5 breaths every stretch you do. Practice, practice, practice. If you have questions, reach out to me. Please subscribe. Tell all your friends. Let's all be happy and healthy and make this world a really super awesome fit place. See you all in the next video.